A-N. So they've started the hearing. They have Christine Blasey Ford made her statement, her opening statement, and then they have a prosecutor who's kind of this lady from Arizona who's kind of in a bad way because she is getting the time that senators get, which is only 5 minutes. So she's trying to build her case and kind of find out what's going on. But let's listen to Christine Blasey Ford. She makes a good impression. She comes across well. And then I will tell you what I think about this, which really is not going to change almost no matter what happens in the following few hours.
I am here today not because I want to be. I am terrified. I am here because I believe it is my civic duty to tell you what happened to me while Brett Kavanaugh and I were in high school. When I got to the top of the stairs, I was pushed from behind into a bedroom across from the bathroom. I couldn't see who pushed me. Brett and Mark came into the bedroom and locked the door behind them. I was pushed onto the bed, and Brett got on top of me. He began running his hands over my body and grinding into me. I yelled, hoping that someone downstairs might hear me, and I tried to get away from him, but his weight was heavy. Brett groped me and tried to take off my clothes. He had a hard time because he was very inebriated and because I was wearing a one-piece bathing suit underneath my clothing. I believed he was going to rape me. I tried to yell for help. When I did, Brett put his hand over my mouth to stop me from yelling. This is what terrified me the most and has had the most lasting impact on my life. It was hard for me to breathe, and I thought that Brett was accidentally going to kill me. Both Brett and Mark were drunkenly laughing during the attack. They seemed to be having a very good time.
So you look at her, she's credible, if that, whatever that word means. She's believable, she's voice is trembling, she's emotional, and the story itself is credible, although she can't remember the day or the place. Here is the thing about this hearing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we don't have any facts. There's no corroboration from the time. The people who she says were there says it didn't happen, or they don't remember. It is just all they're saying is, do you believe her? And when the Democratic senators are asking questions, they're asking these general questions about sexual assault, as if this had anything to do with sexual assault as a major issue, as an issue, an overarching issue. It doesn't. It has to do with this incident and whether it happened, and there is not enough information here to prove it or disprove it. She could be lying, she could be telling the truth, she could be misremembering. Anything could be possible. And, Dick Durbin, who is he's gone the full sleaze at this point. He says, what percentage sure are you that this happened? And the answer is, she says 100%. What difference does it make? What difference does it make? It's like that old song, I Believe I Can Fly. That's great until you step off a building and find out you can't. It's not an attack on her. It's not an attack on any other victim of sexual assault. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with process. This is the hardest thing for the human heart to learn, that facts are what matter in these cases. It is so hard when you think of all the lynchings that took place. There were lynchings of blacks. There was a lynching of a white man by blacks for rape and murder. There were lynchings of Jews. There were attacks on Catholics. We remember Tawana Brawley, who ruined a man's life with a lie. We remember the Duke lacrosse case where the guys were splattered all over the fronts of magazines. We remember the Rolling Stone. They had their story of UVA, right, where there was this gang rape. All these stories are powerful. You can sit there, and of course the left is constantly saying, I believe, I believe, I believe. It doesn't matter what you believe. What matters is the truth. What matters is the facts. This is an important moment for America. It really is. You almost never hear me say this. I always believe tomorrow is another day. These things come and they go. If the Republicans let their nominee go down on unsubstantiated, unprovable allegations, no matter how credible this woman is, if they succumb to fear, because that's all it is, it's fear that the public will believe her, fear that women will get angry, fear that people will, attack them or vote them out of office. If they succumb to that, they have lost the country. They have lost what the country means, what it's supposed to be about. They have lost the concept of guilty, of innocent until proven guilty. They have lost the concept of due process. They have lost the power to put forward anybody because, first of all, none of us is wholly clean and any of us can be slandered. I mean, both those things are true. There's no such thing as a perfect person. And if you're going to destroy people with things that happened 36 years ago, that alone is bad. But if you're going to destroy them with something somebody said happened 36 years ago, you have lost everything. They will lose this House. I think they'll lose the Senate. Whereas, if they stand firm and they push forward and confirm Kavanaugh, which is what I believe they should do without question, without doubt, unless he comes out. The only thing that would change my tune, my opinion is if he came out and said, all right, I confess, you know, I mean, that would be the one thing that would change my opinion. But if they stand firm, the lynch mob hysteria will pass. Good people who right this minute are thinking, I believe her, will stop and think, well, wait a minute. Why did I believe her? What were the facts? Where was the corroboration? What was going on here? What got me so carried away? Good people will do that. Not on the left, but good people will do it. And they will come to their senses. The lynch mob mentality will pass and the Republicans will survive. And of course, if anything ever comes out that can be proved, he can be impeached. But then you've got to prove it. Then you've got to put forward the evidence and not just ask people whether you believe her. This cry of I believe her is the cry of every single lynch mob that ever killed a man. The cry of I believe her has gone all through history. It is so hard for our hearts to understand that it doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter whether I believe in God. It only matters whether God is there. It does not matter what I believe is the truth. It only matters whether it can be proved and whether there are facts. This is the thing. I mean, and when you saw yesterday, this country, the press, the left, worked itself up into a witch hunt crucible mentality that was shameful. I mean, if the left had any shame left, I mean, I got to the point where I was laughing at part. I mean, I have a mordant sense of humor. I have a very dark sense of humor. And at one point, Brett Kavanaugh put forward his calendars for the year 1982. And it had things where it said he had been grounded. And I thought, well, he was obviously grounded because he killed and dismembered a prostitute. It's like, Brett, you go to your room right now. I told you not to kill any more prostitutes. No more gang rape parties for you, my friend. You have to stay home from the gang rape parties if you kill any more. You know, it's like, how insane did it get yesterday? How ugly did it get? And yet, always from the news, from the left-wing news people, was that the guilt, the drumbeat, I believe. Not let's see what happens, not let's see if there are any facts, not there are no facts, but I believe they were even reporting at one point an anonymous report that went on the news, an anonymous report saying, oh yeah, he pushed me up against a wall or something. You know, our friends at Newsbusters, the Media Research Center, they put up this montage of news people convicting Brett Kavanaugh. Listen to this, cut number 6.
He's a liar. Really big red flags to me, and this is just the latest one.
I don't think Brett Kavanaugh takes women's pain very seriously.
Kavanaugh simply refers to it as the accuser.
Kavanaugh has lied multiple times. Kavanaugh's potentially lying, and that to me is disqualifying.
This is not a court of law, right? So this doesn't need to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt.
Credibly accused.
Credibly accused.
Credibly and authoritatively accused.
Credibly accused of sexual assault involving teens. Who are you going to believe?
She's being bullied into showing up 4 or 5 days after this letter is leaked to be questioned by 11 white men.
Panel white men.
10 white men.
White men.
All white men.
Wolf pack of white men.
All white men.
Asking her, aggressive and obnoxious questions.
Why not pull the nomination?
Pull the nomination.
Kavanaugh is quite overcooked.
His nomination should be withdrawn.
Wouldn't surprise me if he chose to withdraw.
This nomination is cut.
They're protecting a man who is probably guilty.
So much stuff there. The casual racism of our modern press, the casual racism is despicable. They are despicable. Every time the words "a white man" comes out of their mouth, the guy should be thrown off the air. He should be fired, or she should be fired on the spot. What don't you like about the color of white skin? What is it you don't like about it? What gives you the right to judge a man by the color of his skin? It is wrong. It is wrong when you do it to black people. It's wrong when you do it to yellow people, and it's wrong when you do it to white people. It's disgusting, and it wouldn't be happening if they weren't surrounded by like-minded people. If they all didn't think the same thing, it's just like the Klan sitting around. You know, you listen to people, you listen to racist people who are racist against black people instead of white people. They're the same way. They're the same way. As long as they're surrounded by their own, they can say anything they want, just like the people on CNN, just like the people on MSNBC, just like all these people. And the second thing about how she shouldn't have to, she's being bullied into showing up and answering questions. That is how the truth is found. You know, it is like the way competition serves business. If you have to make a better iPhone than the next guy or go down the drain, you will make a better iPhone. As competition serves business, makes business better. The courtroom system is a system of adversaries. It is a system that it's called a trial. It's called a trial for a reason. It puts people on trial. And yes, you get questioned. Sometimes they bring out stuff about you that you don't want to reveal. Sometimes they make you look bad. Sometimes they slander you. They do all kinds of things, but you have to survive that and get to the facts. You know, what's interesting about this to me, yesterday, Donald Trump gave a press conference. And everybody's making fun of Donald Trump's press conference. And it is funny. He's a funny guy. He's narcissistic. He kind of goes off, he's bloviates and he's inarticulate and all this stuff. It all is comical and all this. But when you compare it to them with their fancy suits and dresses and their fancy, ways of speaking and all this, who are just convicting this man without due process, Trump got closer to the truth. Play this thing, cut number 1.
And people are going to be scared because we could say it about you. 35 years ago, you met, and you might not know what's going on. What is going on? Why did they wait so long? Why did Senator Feinstein wait till the hearings were over and make this case? Why didn't she bring it right at the beginning when you ask about, as an example, the FBI? Why didn't they bring this right at the beginning, during the hearing? You would have had all the time in the world for the FBI. It would have been fine. Now, the FBI, as you know, did investigate this time, as they have 5 or 6 other times. And they did a very thorough investigation. But this is a big con job. And I would love to be in the room with the Democrats, close the door. You guys are all away outside waiting. And Schumer and his buddies are all in there laughing how they fooled you all. Let's just stop them. A big fat con. Yeah, go ahead.
He's right. It is a con. Regardless of what Blasey Ford is in her mind, regardless of what she's doing, it was a con. The way she was used, they used her as a checker piece in this game of keep the nominations out, win back the Senate, stop Trump from affecting the Supreme Court. That's the game we're playing. There's no other game that we're playing. We're not playing a game about defend all women. We're not playing a game of Me Too. We're just playing a game of power. That's all that's happening. And we know that's all that's happening because there's no standard. There's no standard by which Blasey Ford or Kavanaugh can be redeemed. There is no standard. So if there's no standard, we're not looking for that, are we? We're not looking for proof. We're not looking for facts. We're not looking for truth. We're looking for power. That's the game that's being played. And Donald Trump says what Donald Trump says in his funny way and in his belligerent way is the truth. It is the truth. Yesterday, the witch hunt reached this kind of feverish pitch when Michael Avenatti, who could not believe Michael Avenatti, who could not think this classy man, and here's the thing that gets me about him. He's a creation of the press. The CNN made him a hero when he was bringing out remember with Stormy Daniels, they were almost saying he was a hero. They almost used that word. Michael Avenatti brings out this woman, Julie Swetnick. And she says, oh, there were gang rape parties. I was at 10 of them. I thought, what? Wait a minute. What do you mean you were at 10 of them? Maybe it's just me. After the first gang rape party, I'm not going back. I mean, that's it. That's it. I mean, it's amazing. And all this stuff comes out about her. And, I don't say this without any compassion. All this stuff comes out about her that her boyfriend, Richard Venecci, got a restraining order against her because they broke up And he says she threatened him multiple times after they broke up. And even after he married his current wife, with whom he had a child, he says, this is from Politico, right after I broke up with her, she was threatening my family, threatening my wife, and threatening to do harm to my baby at that time. I know a lot about her. She's not credible at all, not at all. And even the media starts to realize that, maybe we have stepped over the line. Here's Sonny Hostin, this is cut number 4, questioning Michael Avenatti and asking him, because this is the other thing, she didn't accuse Kavanaugh of anything. She just accused him of being there. So she asks him, is she charging him with anything? And he can't answer the question.
Did he do anything to this particular woman?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question.
Did he do anything to this particular woman, Julie Swetnick, or is she alleging that she just has seen him be aggressive with other women?
Well, I think the allegations, Sonny, if you read further in the declaration, are far more specific and relating to Brett Kavanaugh's conduct towards women in general, including the attempts to drug women by placing grain alcohol and or drugs in basically the punch at these parties, that many of these women ended up gang raped, unfortunately. I mean, the details in this declaration are specific. They are shocking, but above all else, they are true. And my client stands behind them 100%, and she's looking forward to having an opportunity to meet with one or more FBI agents, hopefully, and describe what happened. And she's also prepared to testify, if she's permitted to do so, to the U.S. Senate.
So now cable news starts to think, maybe the American people are not absolute, like worm-like morons, are going to start to realize this guy is pulling a con, this woman is not believable, this stuff we're piling on. See, what they're trying to do is they're trying to create this cloud of inference, a cloud of accusation. So you say, well, there's so many, there's so much, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many people there are. Again, it doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter who's credible. It doesn't matter how many there are. All that matter are the facts, and there's no way to get them. There's no way to get them. It is the hardest thing for people to understand when something cannot be done. We can't get the truth, and therefore this hearing shouldn't even be going on. It shouldn't be going on because it can't lead to the truth. It cannot lead us to the facts. So what's the point? So now, cable news, who created Michael Avenatti, panics. So here is this one is again from MRC, from Newsbusters, a montage of the cable news panicking that this is going too far.
Michael Avenatti certainly knows how to get a lot of attention, but we're taking this from serious accusations to a very political situation. Does that hurt this accusation?
Michael Avenatti has inserted himself in this conversation in a way that is, honestly makes the circus an even bigger circus.
There will be some Republican senators who might have been inclined to listen more openly to Dr. Ford, who will now see the involvement of Avenatti in this as further evidence that this is somehow a politically organized smear campaign.
That's a pretty big matzo ball to just be hanging out there. I mean, are you saying that Kavanaugh was present? That Kavanaugh was present in the room, he was in the line, he was in the party? I mean, just to say he was present is a really egregious lack of specificity when you're talking about charges this horrific.
It's like Frankenstein. They created this monster, now he's destroying the village. Maybe we shouldn't have sent him up into the rooftop when the lightning was going on and brought Avenatti to life. I am Michael Avenatti, now I must kill everything. It's like they caught up, but this is them. They made him, and now they're sorry because he's making them look bad, because Blasey Ford at least is not that. Whatever she is not this kind of tool of a guy like Avenatti. It's really interesting. The Senate Judiciary revealed yesterday, very quietly, that they had interviewed one man twice and another man who said, you know what, it wasn't Brett Kavanaugh, it was me. The guy said, it wasn't Brett Kavanaugh. He sent in a letter. He said, I was the guy, I think I'm the guy who attacked Christine Blasey Ford. Now, how would it be if I applied the logic that they use on Christine Blasey Ford with this guy, okay? Either one of these guys, let's pick one. How would it be if I said, well, why would he come forward and risk this? You know, and he could go to prison. Why would he say these things and destroy his reputation and destroy his life? It's credible. I believe him. He's credible. This is credible. You know, it makes a lot of sense. The letter he sent in makes a lot of sense. Why don't I say it? Because I don't know. I don't know. The cops will tell you. People confess to things all the time. The cops will also tell you women accuse men of rape falsely all the time. Life is complicated. People are complicated. People lie. That is why we have built, over thousands of years, we have dragged out of the mud through blood and thunder and death. We have dragged out this system of due process where a man or a woman is innocent until proven guilty, and they throw it away for the power. They want the power and they throw it away. If they can get you hysterical, if they can get the Republicans scared enough, they will win. If they will win, that is how the country is going to be governed until the day I die, okay? It's going to be governed for a long time by panic and fear and bullying and innuendo. You know, I'm not Spartacus. I want to tell you, if they were looking for Spartacus, I'd be like, I think the guy looks like Kirk Douglas over there. I would give Spartacus over in 10 seconds. I would not. But I'll tell you who I remind myself of today. There's an Alfred Hitchcock movie called Foreign Correspondent, and it was made to encourage America to support the war effort in Britain. And the guy is in England, I believe, and he's, you know, usual Hitchcock thing. He's accused of something. He's chased around. In the end, the hero winds up in a radio station during the Blitz, and London is being bombed, right? And the lights are flickering on and off. And he says, keep your lights burning, America. They're the only lights left in the world, okay? The way I feel right now, the Republican Party is a mess. It's full of weakness. It's full of dishonesty. It's broken. It doesn't know where it's going. It doesn't know what its future looks like. It doesn't know what its principles are. But Republicans keep the lights burning because yours are the only lights left in Washington, D.C. The other party has lost the plot of America. It has lost the meaning of America. It has lost what we stand for. It has lost how we operate. It has lost who we are. Keep the lights burning, Republicans. They're the only lights left in Washington, D.C.